And that co-working, co-learning happening in many ways and transforming teachers into co-learners. So coming back to integral education, I think the whole notion of wholeness and integral, they are very interesting challenges. But the whole notion of whole is that the part and the whole, how do we think about the part and the whole? Because if we are a prisoner of a dualistic idea, then even if we are thinking about a whole, then the part is already thought about in an oppositional way to the whole. But here think about the idea of Schiller. You know, Frederick Schiller would talk about an aesthetic education for man, for the humankind. But there the part and the whole are not opposed to each other in an a priori way. So therefore what animates the whole also animates the part. So this is also a spirit from certain spiritual traditions. That, you know, for example, in Indian spiritual tradition, that what animates the Brahma, the creator, also animates the soul, the being, you know. So talking about holistic education, we need to go beyond our, prevailing idea of reality, prevailing idea of self, what is called as ontology, a bit technical term, or prevailing method, what is called epistemology. So therefore an education for wholeness invites us to be self-critical about our available ontology and epistemology. It is realization of a new ontology of the whole, a new epistemology of the whole, and also concrete pathways in which we can realize whole in our very moment, what I would like to call as realizing whole, W-H-O-L-E, in our wholes, H-O-L-E. Now the W-H-O-L-E, it consists of many wholes, H-O-L-E, isn't it? Now so far, we have usually a very negative attitude to the wholes, isn't it? Now, but wholes are also integral part of our body, as it is integral part of the field. A field is not just a smooth field. Also we know in the universe there are many dark points of energy, isn't it, So therefore, how do we, both cosmologically as well as concretely move towards an education of wholeness, and it is here body plays a very important role. According to Sri Aurobindo, a very important practitioner of integral education, thinker of education, that the very vision of the integral, it consists of these realities of life. Body, we all have a body, isn't it? Mind, and also something called vital, which relates to our emotional world, isn't it? The world of the will, the vital. There is also a dimension of the psychic, the psychic, and then the spiritual. Now, these dimensions, whatever name we give, of course a word like body and mind, so they can be recognized by everybody, isn't it? Whether we believe mind to be within the brain or mind is something much more than that. But these two words, mind and body, almost universally it would have a resonance. Though, in modern education, now mind has been overemphasized and body has been denigrated. And as I have said, despite so much of body education, think of gymnastics, And as you know, there are varieties of gymnastics. I am told two very important types of gymnastics. One is called German gymnastics and the other is interestingly called Swedish gymnastics. Do you know this distinction, the Swedish gymnastics? Now, do you know about Swedish gymnastics? Yes or no?
Nanta?
Yes.
3 minutes?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So I'd like to know about this distinction.
Yes. Now, this distinction was told to me by a great thinker and scholar of education. His name is Ove Korsgaard. You may like to know his work, Ove Korsgaard, who teaches at Danish Pedagogical University. I have been very blessed to know him. I think Marcus might have heard about him, because he is also a teacher of our dear friend Benjamin Hasker in Copenhagen.
Yeah.
Now, Ove was not only the principal in the Teachers Training College in Oulu, but he is a professor and he has written many interesting books on history of folk high school education. And he was telling me that what has happened, that while German gymnastics was much more militaristic, where the body is trained to be much more soldier-like, parade in a military way. What happened? A very interesting innovation happened around 1860 or so, or in the 1870s, where a teacher in a folk high school, he started practicing Swedish gymnastics, where it was much more artistic, where the body in gymnastics, it became much more a rhythmic body, like a dance, like an orchestra, where that kind of a Swedish gymnastic was a preparation for a kind of to learn how to cultivate your body in a much more harmonious way, much more rhythmic way, where your body is singing with another body, And globally, if you look at other kind of body culture, for example, Tai Chi and others, they are the whole notion of body defense, even the, a kind of defensive body is not just to fight, but also to prepare your body in such a way that you can give a non-violent response to attack. Therefore, kindly note that the whole notion of body and body culture, the physical education, in history also it has got many manifestations. Now, given the kind of militarization of the body, now given the kind of violence in our contemporary world, today our body is exposed or being, kind of trained in many ways. The body being trained to be a terrorist, it is a reality. Now, the body being trained to be a terrorist in an unspoken way, as we know that most of our liberal body, silent body, that we are not terrorist body, but we do not mind, using bombs and bodies to kill terrorists, For example, we are not preparing our body in a non-violent way to respond to acts of terror. So it is in that context, the tradition of Swedish gymnastics, or also I would like to submit the practice of eurythmy in the Stanford Waldorf School. I hope you have known about this eurythmy. It is a very beautiful, it's a very interesting way of being with your body, not only one body, but your collective body. Tai Chi, eurythmy, also the kind of dance that happens in Anandamarga schools, both Tandava and the Kausiki. And of course, if we have to globally, we can talk more about these examples. But globally, think also about the Darvesh, the Darvesh from the Rumi traditions, I was in Konya, in Turkey 4 years ago. The point is that just bringing body to the classroom is not enough. So we would have to open up to body learning to a global, multiculturality, Similarly, mind. That how do we train your mind? As you know, speaking about culture,